Gaming versus Team Dignitas, and we're going to get our first preview of SK now on their home field advantage in a big arena as well. Moses is with me. Now going into this map, of course, the map veto taking an interesting path, and we go to Cobblestone for this first one.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's definitely. I agree with Chad in the sense that if SK is going to let this through versus Dignitas, they have to have some kind of plan against it. But I mean, it is a little bit scary to think about. You know, we've seen some of the Brazilian teams, even the North American teams. I know C's tweeted about this too, as just a few days ago, how the general tactics of the North American and South American teams is a lot of hits towards the towards the B bomb site. Excuse me, like 80% of the time. And I mean, I don't know if I agree with the percentage, or if I don't even really know the percentage that I would say for it. But I mean, it does seem to be an overwhelming hits go towards that B bomb site for these guys. And some of the most success that we saw them have in the matches during the previous days of Pro League was success towards A. So I mean, it is a very weird thing where it feels like some of the tactics of SK on this map seem a little bit. I don't know, just confused or misguided, I guess maybe is the right word.
I'm trying to remember if it was SK themselves or Immortals that we saw that was just constantly hitting the B-bomb site, and it was actually after they had successfully succeeded to get themselves into the site and actually won a round that they finally decided to change it up a bit and go towards the other one. And that was after like 7 or 8 rounds of not managing to make it into the site. So it is a bit of a weird strat, and it seems to go across all the Brazilian rosters with SK and Immortals, and we've even seen it for some of the lesser teams too when they do go over to Cobblestone. So a bit of a weird trend, and they remain very consistent to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the interesting thing about this match now is this is where we kind of really do get to find out like how deep this slump is going for SK, because we've seen them, to start out this tournament a little bit shaky, and in some recent tournaments they have been losing to some of the best teams in the world, but they just didn't look like the SK we know and watched win 2 majors this year. And then just yesterday, I'm not going to say they looked at that level because it was against Cloud9, but definitely they seem to be much more confident in how they were playing as a team and what their teammates were doing. They seem very much more comfortable with themselves. So. I mean, if the SK that was here yesterday shows up, this is going to get very, very interesting because they have such a tall task right now. I mean, Dignitas, you could even argue. I mean, you can't say they're the best team in the world, but you can say they're playing like they're the best team in the world right now. Yeah,
and at the same time, of course, we have both of the big, really on both sides of this one. Both teams have really their big stars showing up to the table at the moment. Coldzera's been performing pretty fantastically at this event. Fallen's been having a good event himself here too. But on the flip side of that one, Dignitas, Matchboy obviously hasn't been affected by the food poisoning at all. He's been an absolute all-star here, and then following that up to Config has been having an absolutely fantastic performance. So it's going to be the clash of all these players across the board here amongst all 10 of them, and it should prove to be a really, really interesting matchup with that factor in play.
Yeah, absolutely, but a lot of it will come down to that defense of the B site, since we know there's going to be a trend there. Even when you switch sides, I mean, even Dignitas there's always focus on that B bomb, so that is the main focal point. It's just the question of how do they manage when the opposing team juggles back and forth between the bomb sites. So this is going to be cool to see. Obviously, drop zone. I think SK on this map tactically on the terrorist side is one of the most creative in how they utilize drop control, because we see them plenty of times try and split up towards the A bomb site from drop, split into the B site towards drop. They can do it in both different ways. And sometimes, I mean, this is the cool thing as well. They have the confidence, and we've seen it in the past, just the ability to just straight up call, walk up mid and walk into connector. We've seen them do that, maybe just 1 or 2 players, and that can really throw defenses off if the timing is just a little bit wrong.
I think an interesting thing, too, with Team Dignitas that we maybe haven't seen enough of just yet is a little bit more from Cajun B. He's been a little bit quiet so far from this event compared to some of the stuff that we've been seeing from him over the past couple of weeks now. And, I mean, overall, from the course of since him joining this team, he actually came out as one of the bigger fraggers in a lot of their online matches and their appearances here and there at LAN events. But so far here at the ESL Pro League, I think he's been a little bit more quiet, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, perhaps. But, I mean, he hasn't really had to do anything. I mean, they did drop 1 map, obviously. But, for the most part, Magisk and Config just carried him through a couple matches. I also think it comes down to a big factor of Rubino and MSL seem very, very much more suited now that Magisk and Config have hit this level with what they do in the game, with their actual play. They seem a little bit more comfortable, and they're putting impact in that we didn't see previously in this lineup. So I mean, that's all going to help things, and Cajun just has to be steady. I mean, that's basically when Astralis was one of the big dangers and Cajun was on the roster. That's kind of what he did anyways. He was just kind of steady. He didn't really blow up, and he had like his 1 match out of every like 6, 7, or 8 maps. He would just like carry them to a win, and then he would just be steady again. So that's actually a very important tool to have, even if he's not, blowing up every single match, and he's not lighting up the scoreboard, and he's not getting all the highlights.
And we don't know the side starts just as of yet. So we don't know whether we're going to have Dignitas starting off on the CP side trying to fend off that consistent B aggression from SK, or whether it will be the reverse situation to begin this match. But let's go a little bit more into predictions for yourself here. I mean, who do you think is going to end up taking control of this match? Is it more dependent on who ends up getting the edge at the start, or do you think it could really go both ways, regardless of the sides?
I mean, at this level of play, I don't think it doesn't really matter what side you have, especially a map like Cbble, which, regardless of whether you think it's T or CT sided at the moment, the scores, are generally pretty close to even. It's usually like around a 9-6, is kind of the expected. So I don't know. I think I would have to take Dignitas just because of the level of play. Still a little bit shaky on the SK side in terms of which SK we're going to see, and just that lack of confidence in the SK that we saw yesterday coming up to play tonight maybe tends me to lean more towards that. Also, I mean, it has the benefit of Magisk and Config, definitely the best duo in Counter-Strike right now that we have in the professional scene, and certainly Magisk seems to be one of the best players at the moment. In this one moment of time.
Yeah. So I think the only other question remaining, if things go the opposite direction here, and we actually see SK taking control of this match, is who could possibly stop SK now? Because now we've gotten out of the ESL arena as well. We're here in the big stage, and they almost, well, I mean, without a doubt of argument, they have the home field advantage here by a big degree. So what teams in this event still would be able to stop them if they can take down Dignitas, who just claimed the biggest event prior to the ESL Pro League Finals?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Because now that we have gotten into the arena, we do have this crowd. We saw how it changed to Mortals as a team, how much better they played in front of the crowd with the crowd behind them, and oftentimes you want to. It's hard to really quantify the impact a crowd can have, but I think from what we've seen so far, this Brazilian crowd, I mean, even when SK just walks in the room, even when Henny just waves at them, they go nuts. So you can't really just discard that kind of fact. So definitely going to help SK. Dignitas is a team you would look to do it. I still, coming into this event, especially after the Epicenter win, I had Dignitas pegged to win this map, or this entire tournament. I think there are a lot of teams that can do it. It's just Dignitas is the only one that's shown consistency, in my opinion, over like recent months to have like good amount of faith in them actually doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we've been seeing some good performances from a lot of the other teams here too. Like Mal's really stepping up, of course. Lowell showing up for the first time since he joined the roster. Of course, Chris J has been having some good performance over the past couple of weeks, carrying that over from E-League now. So they're another big contender, I think, as well. And Envy showing up pretty heavily to this event too. So maybe some surprises there with that team. But still waiting to see for that one. And as you guys can see now, still warming up, still waiting to get into this match now. As the teams are just sorting some last few things out here.
Yeah, we're starting to have chicken.
Yeah.
Why don't they have the hello? Oh, is it because they had to roll back the update for the sounds? They don't have the pumpkins.
Yeah, they don't have the pumpkins because of the sound bug.
That sucks.
So,
we saw a chicken with a pumpkin on it in like day one. On this very map, I believe.
I think it was the Immortals. I think they were having fun with it too.
Yeah, they were shooting at it. So I mean, yeah, you can call that fun. Not fun for the chicken. But yeah.
Call PETA.
Little bit of a bummer that we don't have the pumpkins on our heads. Either way, obviously we're getting good shots. Now it's moonwalking.
Foul physics, of course, top notch.
I like it. Yeah. So this is. I think the interesting part of this map, I think the one player for SK that it has to have a good game. I mean, obviously you can throw out the name like Cold, you can throw out Fur like one of those guys, the riflers. But I think Fallen on this map for SK on the T side, especially with his style of opping, with the kind of playmaking op that he can lead with at times, that we've seen him be so effective with in the past. I think if they're going to have that quality out of Fallen in this game, that's going to make this definitely a scary game for Dignitas. That could actually turn into the advantage of SK.
There's a pigeon head. And someone in the crowd.
Why not?
I've seen the horse head before. I haven't seen a pigeon head before.
Well, we've got a new one.
It is crazy though, just how adamant the crowd is for the Brazilian fan base and whatnot against SK. I was out watching one of the games earlier, and SK came out into the crowd, and they weren't really like in the midst of the crowd. They were hiding like on the side in one of the darker parts of the arena, just the side of the stage, and we saw some of the fans just running over to them, jumping over the barriers and whatnot, just to get autographs and whatnot. It's crazy.
Yeah,
they're so adamant. They're so passionate about the Brazilian fan base, and I imagine it will be tough for any team that doesn't hail from Brazil to not feel that in the matches, even with like the soundproof headsets and whatnot.
Oh yeah, no, the soundproof headsets are not going to stop anything when it comes to the roar of this crowd. So yeah, I mean it's nice and all, but definitely going to be difficult for opponents of SK in the rest of this tournament who have to play again in front of this arena. So that's sick. They've been absolutely crazy. I mean, even just going outside and talking to some of the guys, the fans that have shown up to watch. It's just they're all so happy, so excited to have an event here in Brazil. Even the players, you could tell, like talking to Zeus earlier, talking to some of the SK guys. I mean, this means a lot to them to be able to play in front of the home crowd because I think Fall even said it in that interview. They hadn't been able to play in front of a home crowd in Brazil in years, since I think he said the Source days, where I mean, obviously Counter-Strike wasn't at this level. So a cool opportunity for the Brazilian fans to see their team play.
Looking at this match, though, and again, the other important players who have been somewhat hit or miss over the past couple of weeks or so is coldzera is one that draws attention to me, who obviously has been a huge carry in certain situations for SK, and where if he drops the ball, known of course for him to be very, very consistent across all of his maps, but if he shows up to this one and he's not really bringing that fire to the table, I am not exactly sure what else on SK is going to make up for that. And you mentioned Fall and that certainly if he goes off and we go to where we were seeing him, like back at Cologne last year, whenever he was just absolutely monstrous and you couldn't stop him at all, maybe maybe at that point he would be able to make up for it, but if coldzera really doesn't show up at the table, I don't imagine he wouldn't at this point, but it is a factor certainly that as where Team Dignitas would be able to take a large advantage over the roster hailing home from Brazil and really would be able to punish them there. Yeah,
well, I mean, this is the entire point of having Fur on the roster, and one of the reasons why he's been such an effective player is even if Cold has a little bit of a bad game, even if he starts out a little bit slow, he is going to... Fur is the one who can actually step it up a little bit. So Fur is the one who, when there is a lack in fragging power, he can kind of flip that switch. And we've seen him do it so many times in the past, and that's part of what's made SK so scary this year.
Of course, guys, still looking at the warm-ups here now. I think we were just sorting out one of the players' computers or something like that, making sure, obviously, that everything is completely comfortable for these guys when they do jump into the match itself. But I think we're ready to get into it. Nope, not yet. Not just yet.
Not quite yet.
It tricked me with the round reset.
Yeah, we'll get there. We will get there. So just yeah, a few last-minute issues. But yeah, I mean, now we've touched on a little bit of everything. So how have you been enjoying Brazil so far, Blue?
I have been enjoying it quite good. The Brazilian barbecue. Gone 3 times.
So there's the diet out the window, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Gone completely. It's been very enjoyable, to say that much.
Yeah, Brazilian barbecue is good stuff. Went to a couple places. We went to the Sky Bar last night. You were there briefly. DJ Kuntz actually forgets his wallet, so he had to.
Oh, he did dip out a bit early there.
Yeah, he did. He had to go back, but we enjoyed a nice view and some beverages and some pizza.
It is crazy, actually, just how big this city is. I didn't know it was so sprawled, just spread out over such a big area. It's crazy. I didn't expect the city to be so big.
Yeah, because I feel like I mean, we see some high rises where we are, and then when we were at that restaurant, just looking at there's a lot of high risers far in the distance, which is pretty crazy to think about. So yeah, it does strike me as a very large city in just terms of distance it spans.
Even coming from LA, where everything's really spread out and whatnot, it's just crazy just how much the big city part of Sao Paulo was spread out.
Yeah, but LA, man, LA.
Yeah.
LA is just.
LA is a whole different beast.
Yeah, not my style. We'll leave it at that. But that's the nicest way I can possibly say that. Good Lord, the volume in my ears is destroying me.
It's not good old Michigan from where you come from.
Yeah, I hail from a little bit of the wilderness. The leaves are changing colors back home. It's fall.
Yeah. Doesn't do that in LA. It's just always
concrete and cars.
Always 80 degrees all year long. No changing at all.
Yeah, it's scarf weather now out in Michigan. So excited to at some point in my life get back into that. I go straight back to Atlanta after this one, so it'll be a while before I get a reprieve from the heat.
Good news is, while I've been here, of course, we've been having those crazy rainstorms. Never see that in LA because it just doesn't rain ever.
Yeah, you guys are struggling for water out there.
Yeah, a little bit. So I found some of it. It's just all here, apparently, when it just comes down all at once.
It's migrated. Even the weather doesn't like LA.
Just wants to stick away, and yeah.
Yeah, those were some cool storms, though. We saw the streets were flooding. Those are not flooding, but they were just pretty big rivers for just a rainstorm. A nice lightning show. I think Sadicus was obsessed with going to get pictures of lightning and skylines.
Ruining his cameras, of course.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know how he would do that. I guess maybe they have. I'm assuming someone of a photographer of his caliber would have rain covers for the equipment.
Yeah, little nice cases for that one. Don't know. Didn't look like he had a case on it, so.
It is Sadicus.
We just hope they're weatherproofed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, might be an expensive reinvestment he has to go for some nice photos. There's a nice video I think DJ has on his Twitter.
Who is this playing tic-tac-toe right now? This has got to be Rush. Which observer do we have? Are we working with here? We're working with DJ? Know. Okay, so it is DJ.
Can they tell us on the minimap?
I think he wants us to play tic-tac-toe with him.
Oh, there it is. Or would you put yours?
put this on me. All right, we're getting live into the ninth round. Thankfully, we're spared from the game of tic-tac-toe, because that would have been awkward. Yeah. So is this the this is the ninth round?
Yes, this will be the ninth round.
Okay.
If the mini-map didn't block the whole thing, we could have finished our game of tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, we could have actually. At this point, though, like we did some filling. We've you can imagine
exhausted many topics.
Imagine what Twitch chat is looking like. So let's just show them some gameplay. Let's show them knife fight. Good old-fashioned knife fight.
Let's get directly into it here now and take a look at things. Who will get the very important side start at the moment? Looking like the guys from SK, but starting to flip a little bit, and just like that, it's all dead. So SK will take control of things, and they will get their side choice to start off this map.
I think that girl has been on camera like 20 times today.
Was she the one that they like had her on camera for a solid like 2-3 minutes at one point during the pause?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But yeah, so SK wins the ninth round. Heard the crowd erupt and roar with that first round victory for them, and we'll be getting into this in just a moment. It looks like actually SK is going to choose to stay on the CT side to start with.
Interesting choice for them, but considering, like I mentioned before, the somewhat one-dimensional style of the T side that we do seeing brought to the table, of course, maybe wanting to see if they can get a little bit more of an edge over here on the CT side to start things off, of course, and counter out whatever team Dignitas are going to throw at them, depending on how things go. But just waiting now, I believe, for SK to ready up and get started on the CT side, and we can finally jump back into the action here at our 5th map of the day. And we still have 2 more coming up here on the stream, I do believe.
Yeah, there's going to be 3 matches on the day. What comes up after this one? I can't
think
remember.
The Cloud9 one. Is
the Cloud9 NIP?
Yeah, that's it.
And then what are we ending with?
I don't know which one's on this stream, actually.
Okay, because we can, because I think this is the group that could still possibly end up in a 5-way tie, so we could see some craziness. We might actually have to do some overtime tiebreakers.
That'll be fun.
That would be awesome.
Interesting the way that will end up getting resolved, of course, with the overtime tiebreakers either way.
I think it's a pretty cool system. I think it's a nice middle ground between obviously not wanting to do after what we saw at Epicenter, not wanting to do the round score as a decider, but also not necessarily having the time or the ability to play a full match as a tiebreaker. So I think it's a pretty interesting way to solve that issue. Yeah,
and it gets past all the pistol round and economy building phases of it too. Both teams will be right into the action, and we get like 2 hours straight of just gun rounds.
No, this is interesting because you guys don't have it on your screen. You're seeing the crazy dude in the what's it called, Luchador mask?
Luchador?
Yeah, we're seeing that guy. But on our observer PCs, we're seeing basically Dignitas in the pregame just slaughtering SK members as they respawn for like a good minute straight. And I'm assuming that means that SK was in like a huddle, doing their huddle, which they weren't doing on the last day or yesterday. So they were doing it, and that was something that Sponge pointed out might actually be a good thing that was benefiting them, like focusing on the game, taking all kind of like the pomp and circumstance out of the situation and just focusing on the game. So it would be interesting to know why perhaps they've gone back to it.
Now, though, guys, we are finally getting into it. Dignitas starting off on this T side here with their pistol, and they're going to proceed forward here. Again, very direct, as many teams do over here, right towards the B bomb site. However, SK thought it was going the other way. They committed 3 players over here towards A, and kind of had only 1 leaner, too. That came in the form of Taco. FNX moving himself in there will find the first kill, but Dignitas respond with 2 of their own. That's Magic's Boy and Rubino trading out the kills and boxing out the 3 that were on the A site. A nice dink goes on to Rubino there to bring him down a little bit, but MSL holding just outside of this smoke. He's going to be able to find one pick up here. Trading it out for an additional pistol as well. Taco's hunting for a way back in, and that's a great way to start it. Finds an immediate headshot on a Magic's Boy. Still hunting for Rubino, sitting back over there behind the box, but Fur as well, trying to take down one of these remaining T's at the ticket booth. They're running low on time, though, and neither of them currently have kits. Not sure if one's on the ground, but they are able to box out MSL, taking him out of the picture. The 2 remaining players, Dignitas, aren't giving them anything at all. They're barely peeking out. Taco now at 2 HP. He's going to fall. Everything falls to Fur. And unfortunately, in the 1v2, there's not a lot left for him. He's out of time to defuse this bomb. He's got to fall back. It's going to be Dignitas claiming the pistol round here in this match. Yeah, I think actually Taco and Fur actually used all the bullets in their pistols to even fight by the end of that. But, overall, Dignitas gets into that site so incredibly quickly. That's the big thing. They get those kills very, very fast. SK's not able to delay for any time. And Dignitas has that choke point smoked off. And that's the thing on Cbble. If you get into these sites quickly enough as terrorists, it's so difficult for the retakes to come in for CTs because they are stuck in narrow choke points both ways. There are going to be Molotovs, there are going to be smokes in these later rounds, and then the retakes are near impossible. So the defense has to be able to delay a little bit better, and that's going to be something we'll have to look for in the gun round because this is a map we see often. SK on the CT side going with a double op setup with Cold, with Fallen, and Cold will frequently just play inside the chicken coop. He'll use smokes wisely. He'll stay alive as long as possible. He's very, very effective in that position. So Dignitas being able to flush him out and punish that or just, finding a way to neutralize that kind of a play from Cold Zera, that's going to be critical in the gun rounds. Now again, we sit back and wait here as far as where Dignitas are going to take this towards. They're actually leaning a bit more to the other side too, so already adding some variance into the equation here for the Danish roster. Config and MSL getting ready to move forward into that mid connector, but there is also a presence from SK looking to stop this now. Fallen and Fur will try to pick up at least 1 or 2 kills here, as they do have the cross angle waiting just outside of the mid connector itself. Nobody on long A, but MSL is going to walk into a trap. They have it lined up perfectly. Magic's Boy trades out the kill onto Fallen. Fur's going to look for a little bit more. He had him lined up, but wasn't able to get the reload on the CZ quickly enough, so he does fall. Coldzera, though, waiting in this smoke. Look at him lurking around. He may be able to net a kill under Rubino. Messing it up, though. Got him down to 22 HP. Forced to reload, but he still has it at a safe angle. Eventually, however, it does go down to Rubino. And with that, Dignitas will clean things up to get themselves a second round.
Well, that's not a good sign for Coldzera in this matchup right there. So a little bit muffs that last kill, but it's all good. Dignitas just deciding to just employ just a contact play up mid towards the A bomb site. And you'd think sometimes, I mean, with that kind of a crossfire, they had so much utility, you think maybe just drop one flash in there just to avoid the danger. But it did seem like their idea was kind of to make their way up there without being known for as long as humanly possible. So choosing not to go with utility, a little bit dangerous, but it works out for them. In this round, they should know. I mean, this is a round where you send Config, you send Cajun, you send MSL. You want them to be the aggressors. They have the SMGs. Go let them try and grab some bonus money against all these unarmored opponents.
Now again, Dignitas line themselves up, taking it a little bit slowly still here, but the same basic lineup that we saw in that last round. Rubino waiting. Taco, though, it doesn't peek out enough for Rubino to be able to catch a glimpse of him. Does obviously see the bullet pinging off the side of that one, but now catching him. No dice, however, and we'll just wait this one out. However, that has drawn the attention of more of his teammates. They're going to regroup back over here, turning this into more of a B hit.
Yeah, Magic's Boy's going to be probing down drop, and he's got to be careful. That's an AK-47. I mean, if he dies, it can't really get recovered, but you still got to be a little bit careful with it. And now comes that B hit. Fur and FNX are pretty far away. Fallen is going to be taken down out in drop zone, and it's just Coldzera. Although Rubino, did he just burn?
It looks like it.
It's not bad.
Fortunately taking himself down, but after that one, cleaning things up pretty nicely. FNX now already becomes the last man up and running. Managed to lurk himself around back over here to the broken wall approach, but highly doubt he's going to be able to do anything with this position. They've already got players watching out for this flank, and I imagine they'll check it here if Config was a bit late on actually positioning himself to watch for this sort of flank. Regardless, though, they'll hold on to the site. This will obviously be the third round for Dignitas. So getting the clean start, they didn't get upset in the second round, and obviously not dealing with too many losses either. Dropping 2 in the last one, and unless FNX can get some more kills, only 1 more here. So building up that nice economy to start things off.
This is actually not good. Config's all alone. He has an AK-47, so FNX takes him down, and there's no one nearby to punish that. He's going to get away with an AK-47. A blunder from Dignitas. That is a little bit confusing why Config decided to do that. I mean, they're going to buy in the next round anyway, so it's not like they're giving away anything too crazy. But still, I mean, that's going to help a lot with the economy. Obviously, Magis is going to have a very good buy in terms of his utility. So that's a mistake that Dignitas moving forward, you're going to want to clean that up, because that is the kind of mistake that you don't think about, but can definitely impact the way the game plays at a later time.
Yeah, absolutely. But they do get that strong start there, too, and the loss of Config, as you mentioned previously, is not going to be the biggest deal in the world. It is odd, too, because he walks back out there, and it seems like he had full awareness that there was someone working their way on a flank, but just a lapse of judgment there and doesn't end up checking around the corner.
I will say the one thing, because we did just see this pause come in, which everyone's a huge fan of pauses these days. But this is actually a technical pause. It's not a tactical pause. And the pause was called by Config because he says his keyboard is broken. So maybe just getting distracted by some kind of issue with the hardware caused that little bit of a mental error there at the end of the round. But yeah, we're gonna get this one figured out. Fans of pauses be like.
Around the world. But again, here now for SK, their first chance to really put up a good defense effort after the pistol round here will come up as this first gun round. We can already see the investments for them. They're buying up. Problem being, though, is that utility may be a little bit light on some of these players. Like Fur already buying up with 550 left. He's going to have that Molotov, but not really much beyond that one. And it'll be the same story for some of these other guys, too, especially Fallen, who's gone for the full-up investment with armor, and it's just to belay the utility until they can buy again 2 rounds later, assuming they lose this first one.
We saw this as well on Dust 2 against Cloud9. SK in that 4th round, they just busted out a double-op setup and just depleted it, and they just said, screw it, we're going to go for it right off the bat. We're going to bring out the heavy weaponry. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of confidence in Fallen's ability, and rightfully so. He's going to be a little bit light on you, so I think he had 1 flashbang that he purchased with it, but still, he'll be able to manage.
Yeah. Absolutely. After Team Dignitas themselves, of course, the choice in front of them to save some of these SMGs, which I imagine they'll probably do if they just work this into a B hit. They could still have some usefulness with those across the map.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to keep two SMGs, especially the UMP, I mean, the UMPs obviously aren't bad. We know that with the armor penetration, you can still utilize them in the 4th round. But if you're going to have the SMGs, use them as a front line. Have them be aggressive. Have them be fast-paced. Use that mobility advantage, especially considering, you know, for the most part on these 4th rounds, this is when the CT sides still haven't built up, you know, enough of money in the bank to have the kind of utility. Now, the interesting thing is, you guys will see when we get back into the game eventually, is that coldzera has actually decided to go for a FAMAS instead of an M4. So he's actually going to have a Molotov, he's going to have a smoke, he's going to have 2 flashbangs. So that might be a little bit unexpected. The AK-47 that FNX was managed to save and pick up at the end of the last round, he has full utility: Molotov, smoke, nade, flash. So it's really just going to be Fur, Fallen, and Taco who are missing things. So there are some tools that SK can use, and probably surprise Dignitas with thinking that they might not have those.
Yeah, a few options for Dignitas, of course, with the SMGs going for early drop control. They could use the guns very easily in there. But not only that, too, but the possibility to really dive down through Broken Wall itself and then move around the corner to get control of the outside area just behind like the tree boost up and whatnot. Can also be very useful from there. Going over towards A could prove to be a little bit riskier. Obviously, they can use it to get areas like A long control and whatnot, but then getting out into the site where the battles are going to be a little bit more longer ranged. Obviously, now that SK will have rifles across the board, that is where they're going to, for the most part, find themselves outmatched, which may lead this into somewhat straightforward B hit from Team Dignitas.
I mean, we'll keep a watch on this throughout the whole game. I mean, let's just keep it in the back of our head to keep track of the Magisboy versus coldzera. I mean, look at Magisboy is 6-1, coldzera 0-3. So it is just the first 3 rounds, obviously. But you know, just during the downtime, kicking things off with a nice little monitoring of fragging.
Yeah,
I guess we'll call it. Yeah, still paused. Just to keep you guys updated. Still, I believe, fixing that issue. And still, I mean, it looks like, I don't know if maybe they're kind of waiting for this to get fixed before they buy it, but still on the screen, MSL and Cajun still have the UMPs. So we should be good to go any minute.
Yeah, I just sat back down. I believe we got the message, so should be getting unpaused at any second here to get back into this game. And then we get right into the action to see who's going to take this. The group stage continues. Both of these teams still vying as well to make sure and see if they can get. Interesting note, too, which I don't think has been brought up a lot too far among the analyst desk and even among the casters, too, is if you can topple a group, then you get tomorrow off. You have that day to practice and relax for yourself. Could kind of go both ways depending on the type of team you are, but you're not going to have to worry about any games tomorrow. You go directly forward to the semifinals.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be nice because at this point, I mean, especially with a lot of these teams having come straight from Russia, obviously the extra day of rest, but also, I mean, just being able, you know, you've been playing so much Counter-Strike recently because there's a big stretch of CS to be played here right at the end of the year, so you're going to be playing a lot, but just the ability to sit down and relax in the hotel and watch some demos is going to be a big boon because with all the Counter-Strike coming up, these players should be warmed up and at their level, and as I say this, the pause is about to end, so rejoice, Twitch chat. Here we go, live into the 4th round.
Back into the game we go, and let's take a look at what Dignitas has to offer us now that they're going to have to go up a much greater force from the SK side of things. Already pushing themselves, and it does look like it is going to turn itself into a B hit. Nobody even thinking about currently heading towards drop. However, all 5 of them line up to push over towards the broken wall. coldzera, he is going to hide himself back over here in the cubby. Rubino, however, ready to go for a strike, and he's one of the players with the SMGs, as you mentioned before. MSL is a little bit further behind. coldzera strikes first, however. He's going to pick up that first kill, looking for some more. MSL responds as just Magixboy. A nice kill from him. Somewhat heavy cost, however. MSL, Magixboy, config, all heavily lit, and they haven't really gotten a lot of progress, but they've got the smoke wall set up, so they are safe to proceed a little bit here. Magixboy's still going to have to be very, very careful with moving out from the statue position, but it doesn't really seem like SK are doing a lot in terms of getting themselves out into the open and taking risks with those smokes still set up.
Yeah, that is a sick play from coldzera. He's put his team at such a big advantage, and here comes the retake. There's one kid on FNX, no utility left, but they have such an advantage, and there's Fallen from range. He knows Magixboy's going to have to peek down into a 4-on-2 as they continue to just take over this site. They've got to clear out Chicken Coop, and there it is. MSL falls, and all that's left is config. He's got no HP to do anything. Fallen takes him out, but it's coldzera who's the hero of the round. I mentioned we were going to keep track of that Magis versus coldzera kill count. That round might just be 3 kills to coldzera because he buys so much time. He gets the opening kill. He causes a TK. He does massive damage to the remaining 3 players. I mean, even in a 3-on-4, Dignitas gets into that site, but so many players are just damaged so much that you just don't feel there's any confidence in them actually being able to turn that round in their favor.
causing the chaos of that one there too. So Dignitas going to fall down, but of course, saving the SMGs and whatnot, they're not going to have any problems at all going back into the next round with a rebuy for themselves. Cajun picking up the op, the rest going for the AKs. We're right back into the action for them, and SK, of course, back into full utility for everyone on the team this time. But now, Dignitas are going to go back to the split here. That's actually a nice Molotov thrown over top. Delays them a little bit here. Not going to have huge implications, but at the very least knocks off 30 HP from Cajun.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty cool Molotov if you wanted to get aggressive on B platform as well. Obviously, you don't know if it's going to split them like that for every single time, but Rubino was very much isolated. Now it comes into a little bit of pressure over towards the A site. Config, he's going to get into a battle with Fur, and he forces the commit from Fur. That's a really nice play, and Magis as well. There it is, the 2 stars, the 2 opening kills of the round, and this defense is split. 1 in drop, 1 at A and 1 at B. This is going to be so difficult for SK to recover.
coldzera trying to hunt for some players over here in drop. But Magic's boy has already moved himself into the site connector and is looking to hunt some of these players back out of A. The first battle goes his way, knocks down coldzera, and now it's just Taco standing in the way up on top of the box. Very smart about this one to try and watch for Magic's boy too, but not going to be able to spot him. His first shot is going to come out from the smoke. He grabs the first kill, but they're stacked heavily, so MSL will be immediately in a position to trade. They'll find this plant, and while Fallen is rotating, he's going to try to line up a kill against Cajun. Finds the opportunity. The first couple shots connect. Leaping forward. Stays on the pistol. Finds that kill. But unfortunately, nothing else to be gained off of this one. They know where he is. That's going to be Config wrapping around the corner to try and box him in and prevent him from falling back to save.
Yeah, but if he can somehow get out of this, he's got the off out. Oh, there it is. The Config just ends it, and it seems like we had the bullets POV in that one. Yeah, I mean, Fallen, at least he takes, he gets the off down. If he can go on from there and still get a couple kills and keep the off away from Dignitas, that would have been awesome. But either way, good opening from Dignitas. 1 towards drop, 1 towards danger. That fight Config versus Fur that we saw on the danger stairs, that was huge because you could see Config, he doesn't commit to the fight. He's just passing over the doorway back and forth. And once Fur kind of really commits and starts spraying and he gets the recoils all messed up, that's when Config comes out. So comes back out to take that fight. So a little bit of an outplay there on Fur.
SK, though, immediately going into the save. And let's see, this one, however, is they actually had still quite a nice amount of cash. A couple of them are still a bit low, but I do believe they'll have enough to scrape together another buy as they head into the 7th round. This time, though, Dignitas, I imagine, will still play things very slowly, considering they know they have the reset, they know they still control over the CT side economy, and Config himself still hunting for a couple of shots through the door at the beginning of this round. None of them are going to connect, but Fallen still remains in his position, waiting to shut them down.
What is that flashbang? Bounced off the slanted door like back at Config.
Unlucky.
I guess so. Well, yeah, he's again going to be the one who looks like leading the way through these doors eventually if they decide to go. Being very cautious. There's a minute left on the clock before they move, and there's Sprawl. A nice shot from him. Oh, and he digs Config as well. That's the bomb. This is a little bit dangerous. Now, I mean, SK only has 2 members here, so they can't really commit to defending and holding this bomb, but I mean, Config's brought down so low. 1 more kill. This gets super dangerous. There's Fur. He goes for it with the Deagle with the pop flash, but Cajun doesn't get fooled, and he's going to come back. Watch for the flank. He's prepared for it, but another dink comes out. Still not out of the woods just yet for Dignitas.
Everybody from SK has obviously stacked themselves on the A-bomb side, and probably because of that one, because of how obvious their intentions have been made. Dignitas are going to wrap over towards B, but even there, FNX is waiting, and look what he's got in his hands. A nice little Zeus there to possibly add some action to the equation. We'll see. He's sitting right over here by Broken Wall, and it seems like he's going to have many, many options to choose from as they push forward. They're holding close up, but the timing works out great for the guys on Dignitas. Max Boy strikes first. It spots that Broken Wall position so that the guys on Dignitas don't really have to worry about it. Really well played there, ensuring they don't have to suffer through any more losses here, and they do get control of the site.
He can hear those footsteps, and he's just salivating the whole time. It's the worst feeling to then just get taken out from behind. So a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, smart play as well, because I think it was Rubino leading the way there, and if FNX gets that Zeus kill and the 100 HP player goes out to the pistol, he's got Cajun and Config coming up next, so that very easily could have swung in the favor of SK, almost making a huge play. But for now, again, it's just the mission of trying to get guns, and coldzera's blind and can't land up the shot. It's another round for Dignitas.
Does hit 1 or 2 of them there, so again, the numbers go down very, very low on the health pools of Dignitas, but they do manage to still hold control of things. However, right back into the fray now goes SK as they buy up here again. However, as mentioned previously, the money was still a little bit low for some of these guys, so the buys themselves are not going to look too great. For players like Taco, FNX, Fallen gets the outbuy, but again, utility's rather limited, and for Taco and FNX themselves, they managed to get rifles in a single SMG in Taco's case, but basically no utility sitting behind it besides the smokes and the basics.
Yeah, double op setup though, which is going to be nice. coldzera's going to go to his home over in the chicken coop, so we know he loves to play this, how experienced he is in this kind of a position, and every style of execute, whether it's Molotov, he'll take a shot, and if he, I mean, whatever happens after that, he usually just drops a smoke either to preemptively extinguish a Molotov or to work his way around it and be a little tricky. Usually to great success. Config now, he's going to try and enter solo. Fur's got the angle. So Config gets caught off guard. A 5-on-4 advantage for SK. Chance from the crowd in the distance as Magisboy and Cbble work to take over drop zone.
Dignitas now, however, are going to start their push down into the bomb site here, and FNX waits outside. They're playing the more passive route on defending the drop zone. They're going to let them get control of this one. As Cbble starts to slowly move forward here. He hasn't found anything yet. There's going to be Fur striking. FNX still waiting, not going back in to try and shut down the remaining players in drop itself. The bomb is still way back over there at the mid connector. That's a nice peek from Cajun, though. Nobody's actually watching the outside of this area immediately, so he's on to just wrap himself outside. Unfortunately, he's not watching his own corners here. FNX walks right up, shuts down Cbble, and now they've got full control of the site again. It's all on the Magisboy, but there's only one player sitting on the site, so he's able to move in. He takes down Fur, and it's a 1v3. He's able to isolate this quite nicely, but the cross is going to be the problem. FNX is there. He's able to watch for it and shut it down. So SK, they'll pick up their second.
Yeah, they've also picked up a third op, so I mean, they don't have the money to really drop that and rebuy. That might be a little bit risky for their economy, I think. So I wonder if they're just going to go with it for this round and try and swap. You know, Taco's going to go back to an AK-47 if they can bring one out of the hands of Team Dignitas. But that round, Dignitas gets a little bit more individualistic. They try and make some plays with Config, try and make some plays all alone, and they get slapped down. So perhaps going back to a little bit more of the style where they attempt to trade here. But a good idea to just switch things up. It just doesn't pan out that first time. And actually, I mean, Taco goes for the UMP at the moment instead of that third off.
Fallen waiting, however, in his home back over here at the long A position. They're trying to see if he can catch any of the players pushing in. Throwing back a bit early, but look at Fur grabbing those 2 kills and suicide. And now Fallen trying to support. Misses his first shot, though, and that's going to cause the loss of his teammate and himself when he goes for the repeat there. That's so huge for Dignitas after losing those first 2 players back at suicide. Now they have a chance, and not only this, too. Look at Rubino. He's gotten full control of drop. And if he can take down Coldzera unbeknownst, that's going to be even bigger benefit to these guys.
I'm so amazed that Rubino wasn't more aggressive with that. He heard the footsteps the whole way, so he's got so much information, but now Coldzera's got himself in perfect position to stop this. A little bit disappointed Rubino didn't take any of those fights. Obviously, he can't know that that Cold's running with his knife out, but I mean, you try and punish that, why not? Because you could see what Coldzera is able to do now that he has position, and now he can see drop, he can see the long hallway. There's really nowhere for Dignitas to go here. It's a nice shot from Cajun, brings him, digs through the box, and there's the win. There's finally Rubino making his move, down into a 2-on-2. Still a chance here, and Cajun is going to be easily crossing into the site with that smoke.
But they do have to use another smoke in order to accomplish that, and now Rubino has the only one left here, so they are going to be limited in what they can do for the post plan itself, but final 2 from SK have arrived. They're already moving in to start the retake. Rubino is going to be first up to bat here, hiding around the corner in a very overexposed position, trying for the quick flick there. Taco does not succeed, but FNX catches the trade. Goes down to the 1v1, and Cajun's very low. He peeks out, procs about a quarter of the HP off of FNX, but he also reveals himself in the process. Cajun B is going to be destroyed by FNX. An amazing flick from him, and he'll have the 5-second defuse easily for the SK roster. There's their third, and they're well on their way to a comeback.
Yeah, well, the question becomes that now for Dignitas, how much do they want to invest into this round? Because they're all sitting just over $3,000, and yeah, this is going to be a timeout. This is a good call from MSL, because this is where you do really want to figure out how much you're going to devote. You know the economy for SK is low. They don't know how low, but they know that it's very, very close to a breaking point, and it certainly is. Coming down to just one player, a lot of rebuys coming out. So this is where Dignitas has to decide if they want to fully devote themselves to this round and just fully invest in it, or if they want to do a smaller buy and just do the Tech 9 armor, Deagle's armor, maybe one AK-47 somewhere, but just see if you can do 3-4 more kills in this next round. Keep that economy as low as possible to always keep SK on the edge of being reset.
Yep, and they are at the edge of that right now. If we could see a shutdown in their force buy here. Everybody on SK sitting at most around 150. I think the most at the moment is Fallen, sitting at $550. So if they can shut this down, they immediately put them onto an eco. Dignitas here to see what they decide to do. No buys yet, but again, the unpause, I should say, hasn't come in just as of yet. They are doing it right now, though, so we will get that decision in just a second as to whether they want to play this aggressively or just do a half buy here, which seems to be the route they're going on.
Yeah, and I like it. It's a little bit early to be investing. That's investing a lot of your economic stability for the next few rounds if you fully buy into the next one, especially considering they wouldn't have had like any full armored AKs. It would have been all light armor AKs or Galils or even pistols with full utility. So I think they're making a smart call here, but comes down to how much damage they can do into this round, because that's the goal. 3 kills, 2 kills in a plant, anything will do. Rubino trying to throw a little bit of a distraction. And the game is actually live, so we're going to do a little bit of radio broadcast. Fallen and Fur, they just combined for 4 kills in mid. They come streaming out, and it gets destroyed. So it's just Rubino left. You guys didn't miss much, as no one falls from the SK side, so the half-buy investment doesn't pan out. It's a good idea, but SK is able to build up some money.
Yep, they get a little bit close there to it, but ultimately no one ends up going down. And now across the board here, SK sitting at an average of 2,500 to 3,700 on all of their players. Dignitas, though, buy back into this one. It is going to be a full buy 5 AKs for all 5 of their players. Full armor sitting behind it as well, and good utilities you can now see as we go back into the game.
SK did look good while they were doing that, though.
This cross spray over there up on the ramp position there, completely shutting down Dignitas. Gave them no room to maneuver at all. It was actually quite nice.
So, smokes and the choke points. Now SK has everything built up to where they want. Interestingly enough, I mean, maybe it's just because they don't have they don't feel comfortable with the amount of money they have, but they haven't gone back to that double op setup that they seem to want to employ. So Rubino over towards the B site, Magus and Cajun B over here as well. Config and MSL, they're working together, and again, it's Config who's pretty much all alone. Last time he did this, he got that kill on Fur in drop zone, and he's going to sneak his way in. The timing for Fallen is going to be critical, and he's actually staring right for this, and there it is. That's the punish. Config getting nothing done, solo towards the A site. No more map control for Dignitas on that side. They've got to go back towards B, and FNX is going to be challenged, and he gets dropped.
Dirty shot indeed from Fallen up first, but now we're going to see coldzera moving in for just as an aggressive a kill against Magic's Boy, and they've got KGB at 7 HP. 2 of them are going to push just to make it safe. Rubino responds. Because of all this attention that's drawn over towards drop, it actually did open up the broken wall platform approach, but MSL maybe a little bit too greedy. coldzera, he's waiting for it. Rubino with the tray, but he looks away, and Fallen dips in for a second kill on the round and to close it out, now tying this matchup at 5 rounds to all.
Yeah, SK is starting to get a little confident, perhaps the crowd helping him out, because you can see how aggressive they are in these rotations and helping out their teammates. They're swarming the point of action. Both players from SK that time, Cold gets helped out by a teammate coming into drop zone to make sure they eliminate that half of the attack, and it's so smart. And you see sometimes teams don't quite do that, but a team like SK is so confident in how they're able to retake bomb sites, so confident they'll have success doing that, they're willing to give up platform control, bomb site control in order to eliminate one portion of an attack.
Now, however, Dignitas are setting up very quickly to go back into this B bomb site. They're not going to waste any time with it at all. Smoke's already moving to set up, but look at this, they're bailing back out. They're going to change their direction all of a sudden. Shifting themselves over here towards drop. FNX has got a big job to do. He's ready for it though. First kill going his way. Second as well. KGB trades it out, but now the cavalry's arrive. Fur leaping in from the window. Taco stopping the hit back over by the broken wall. And KGB is going to be the last hope here. Not looking too great. Missing his first volley of shots, and as he dives back into the smoke, Taco will promptly shut it down.
Well, now they've grabbed the lead, 6-5. Dignitas, how do they respond? And another pause from MSL. So the second one of this half. Second of the 4.
That you can use at any time.
At any time.
As we earlier clarified.
I mean, this also, I think this also shows just that Dignitas, they want more rounds on the T side. Obviously, you always want more rounds, but I think it just shows how much importance they put on them not being happy with 5. They want to get up towards, that 7, 8, 9. They don't want to just be stuck here for the rest of this half. So the importance of this round, especially their first buy round, I mean, they've lost 5 straight. So something obviously has not been working in these past 5 rounds. I think a lot of it comes down. I want to see if they're gonna keep sending Config over towards the A side. He's had success occasionally, but you send someone with him to trade those kills out, to try and return that kill onto Fallen, to try and return that kill onto Fur, because it does seem like they've kind of switched things up where Fallen is the one with the AWP watching for that drop, or that danger stare play.
Whatever was previously discussed in the last pause too seemed to have negligible effect, in fact, possibly negative effect onto these guys, because as we're looking at now, they were having some very close rounds, even when they were losing it, really just 1 or 2 players being left alive from SK. The most part, it's now gone in the exact opposite direction. There's a very consistent 4 or 5 being left alive, so SK is kind of getting to a bit of a dangerous broiling point with their economy and quite a few of their players, with everybody except for FNX, who's still sitting down at 1,400. The rest can easily afford full rebuys for the most part.
Yeah, and this is now switched. I mean, here's the change of tactics. Here's what the pause is for. Heavy towards the A bomb site. Just Rubino over at B, and he's actually in drop. He's just chilling. It looks like he's going to be a little bit more of a lurk. He's going to be held off by that smoke. Still only 2 players at this A site, but it's been cleared out. There's Fallen, the late peek in. That is a sick shot. He's even going to be able to get away. No one wants to run in any kind of a crossfire. They don't want to run into the support of Fallen, and even Fur boosted up. This is going to be so dangerous. I think that one kill might have just... I mean, I know it seems crazy to say, but almost sealed it in the sense that SK has such a tactical advantage in the positioning of their defenders.
Spotting that second player there too now, Fallen. This is the second time in 2 rounds straight, I think, that he's gotten these crazy dip kills. The last one was back over there over on A long, but he just swoops in, finds the frag, and immediately gets back out without taking too much damage in response to that one. So really good stuff from him. And now, of course, there's plenty more players waiting for this one. And Molotov is going to shift the position of FNX a little bit, but still just jumps right outside the window, and he'll be safe. What this did allow, though, is Rubino to get inside, but he's not really going to have much effect since coldzera is way back up over here in platform. platform and didn't see anything at all to sway some of these CT defenders. Now they push in. Coldzera and Magicboy finding a couple trades for themselves there. The T side finding its stride a little bit, but the final two have yet to clear out the bomb site. So Taco hiding back around the corner on the platform, grabs the first kill, and Magicboy with 4 HP. Unfortunately, cannot hope to accomplish much. 9 seconds left. He finally is shut out by Taco, and SK have a strong lead going in their favor now, and it does not show any signs of slowing anytime soon here.
Yeah, that first kill from Fallen, I mean, it brought over the reinforcements. They had a third player at that A bomb site, so at that point, Dignitas, they're on the back foot now. This is a really rough-looking match from them. Obviously, that pause, they wanted to do a little bit more with it, but they have the full losing bonus, so another half investment, a couple deagles, Tech 9, some utility, 2 smokes, and a flashbang. But SK Gaming, they're rolling right now. This is the SK that is going to be scary for any team to play against. And Fallen again, this is when he's at his best, this kind of aggression. The Molotov comes out, he gets a second one as well. Smoke drops to protect his fallback, but MSL's too close. He's got to use the pistol, but no, he lets Fur come take it. That's beautiful teamwork, a double for Fur. Him and Fallen have done so well at this A bomb site, and even though he falls at the end, it's a beautiful round overall.
Great tag team play there from Fur, moving in to save Fallen's life. As you mentioned, he still goes down towards the end of the round, but keeps him up for and rolling for a little bit longer. And the two very impressive kills from Fallen. Again, same type of style to that one that we were seeing in the 2 rounds before that one, where he moves in, very, very aggressive, but still very accurate, and that he gets that kill and immediately just gets the heck out of there. It's almost like it is just muscle memory at that point, and he's able to line these up round after round again, and it's constantly shutting Dignitas out, regardless of if it's an eco round like that last one or full gun rounds. It's going back 2 ago. Dignitas, however, are tired of playing it patiently. They're not going to roll right through the mid connector, and they're already pushing themselves up ramp 2, not even trying to fake this one out. Nobody being set to the B-bomb side. Everybody taking this route. Fur is hit by a flashbang, and although he does get some damage onto Rubino here, still ends up getting pushed back. Patience, however, from the rest of SK, just holding into their positions, making sure they don't lose their numbers early on, keeping this to an even 5-on-5. The bomb goes down, and now they have to start gaining some ground back. That smoke in the way, though, stops them from moving into suicide, and it's going to be tough to figure out what exactly is positioned on this site here from the Dignitas roster. Despite the fact that they have players sitting over in long A. The 3 others from the B-bomb site also moving back over here to the main doors, as well as the balcony too, but it's time to start falling up first to bat. He goes down to MSL though, and now we're also looking for a second one, but gotta be careful because Magicboy could work his way back up suicide, and in fact he is. That shut out both the players today along the time. Already getting so low, they might have to save this one. Taco grabs one more kill. Coldzera finds a second, but they even get stuck trying to work their way out. They're gonna have to try to escape this one now. It's most certainly going to be a round for Dignitas, but thankfully no one's even close now. Taco, look at him, he's even getting dirty, moving in there, but no, it fails. Config takes him down, and that's another gun loss to the SK side of things.
Yeah, I mean, last round of the half, they're going to be okay. Taco just going to try and do some economic damage of himself. I mean, SK built up plenty of money in that 7-round win streak to be able to handle that loss of the M4 with no problem, but I mean, what an awkward round. It seemed like Dignitas. There's always the joke, right? When you run out of ideas, you just say rush B. Well, I mean, Dignitas just runs out and they say rush A, and they get up mid, and with Fallen and Fur still stuck over towards the A halls, towards danger stairs. Just so very awkward. And Fallen, oh, it almost looked like he was going to get that shot off, but Magicboy finds him through the smoke. He does get legged. It's a little bit unfortunate for Fallen, but that's a big piece. It's an effective piece for SK that is taken out of this round. So 1 op is still on Coldzera. But Dignitas with a big advantage.
Rubino's starting to creep up here too to get some momentum onto the B-bomb site, but SK are falling back. They're a bit scared of the pressure that could broil up here into the A-bomb site at any moment, so a full commitment is going to come in from Coldzera as he moves away. The only op they still have left in check, so all the defense as well on this B-bomb site is primarily focused, 100% focused on the drop zone here. It's Taco along with FNX that are going to be working towards it here. But they do start to move back out here just as the platform push comes in here from the rest of the T's, and look at this, they shut it down. FNX with 2 quick kills. Taco finds a third. Magicboy and Rubino are able to trade it out, but it's even, and of course there's plenty of time with how slowly Dignitas are trying to go for this cross. For the other 2 on the CT side to rotate back in. Flashbang timing and all that allows Config up to the site, but oh no, the Molotov is going to knock even more damage off him. He goes down to 54 HP. Zera's still holding on here a little bit too, and Magicboy definitely not going to give himself away, but at 8 HP, he's got to be careful of Fur, who wraps back around. The big flank from him is going to take down Magicboy, and now Config has to pull off a miracle with only 54 HP. Well, Zera and Fur both trying to move in, and they're both going to peek from the same time here, but he does have an advantage. Config with a headshot, but no! Shut down by Fur, and the guys from SK are going to steal away this last round on the half.
Yeah, nice round from SK, but it's FNX and Taco working together. I mean, you mentioned they both went into drop zone to see what they could find there. Absolutely nothing, so together they go back out towards platform. Great teamwork between and 2-man groups for SK throughout this defensive half. They have the lead 9-6.
All right, guys, we're going to have the second half for you guys coming up in just a moment here. Stick around. We'll be returning with it when we continue the action here at the ESL Pro League Finals.
It's been another close match here at the ESL Pro League Finals. SK versus Team Dignitas. Now at a 9-6 scoreline with SK, the home team, leading the field currently. And Team Dignitas, now they will switch sides. And the ultimate question for SK, can they bring something else to their T side? Can they innovate beyond just these constant B hits that we tend to see from the Brazilian squads? And of course, even if they do stick to that, will Team Dignitas have the power to be able to stop that? That's a laptop being brought to the broadcast matches. I've never seen that before, Moses.
Why not? I like it.
Normally it's like a tablet or a piece of paper. He brought his whole damn laptop.
Why not? Yeah, whatever works, huh? Whatever gets the job done. Bill Belichick understands. Well, SK with the lead. I mean, that was a great half because it looked like for a while there in the first half. I mean, the first 6 rounds are all Dignitas, right? I mean, it's 5-1 at the end of those, and then SK just comes roaring back. So really, really nicely done from them. Now gonna fall back from a little bit of pressure. They've spotted 3 players. The question is, I mean, this seems very aggressive from SK, so they're just going to clear out these dangerous tiers. I want to know how much of a presence they're actually going to make on this A bomb site, because even just with them being spotted, they've already pulled Cajun B over towards the A bomb site. Hasn't committed to it, except on the balcony, but I mean, that's a lot of manpower over there. So when do they decide to rotate back? Because it's only cold here, and he has the utility, so this is going to be a fake. He's going to throw this utility to imitate an A hit. It's going to block off the double doors. That'll keep Cajun at the A bomb site for just those extra seconds needed to really explode onto this B site. And from there, it's all config. He's the only one on the B platform.
No flashbang support for him to come anytime soon either. They have nothing invested from this Dignitas side, so it all comes down to the pistol power that he would have to be able to wield against these players. Now, though, SK getting ready to push for it. Config tested first. He does have an easy battle against Fallen, but no, he takes too long, and he gets overwhelmed. Fallen grabs that kill, and now drop pressure moving in. No, Rubino, nothing you can do to stop that there. They get absolutely pummeled. Fur even moving back into drop to take down another player. MSL getting destroyed there. Magic's boy at least responds, but it's 5 and 6 HP, and now the flank rolls in. Tactical round from SK that just goes 100% their way, and they take control to keep their lead as they move into the second half.
Yeah, that is a sick round. That is such a well-executed pistol round from SK Gaming. Dignitas is entirely fooled. Even config, even someone as skilled as him, that we've been talking him up of how good he's been playing. You could see some of those shots. I mean, it almost seemed like he should have hit a couple more, but he just feels so uncomfortable in that kind of a situation because he's not expecting that hit to come in whatsoever. So really, really good job of SK masking exactly what they were going to do.
Participants of all ages here in the arena today, as well as you saw there just a moment ago. But now we get back into it, of course, into the action once more. Dignitas just upgrading into their pistols for this round. Nothing too fantastic as a second round buy for them. And SK, as part of the course, are going to take it slow. It's a big stack from Dignitas. They've gone for the 5-man gamble over here onto the A-bomb site. So if SK do decide to slowly creep in, they will find themselves in an open site. FNX may have a little bit of trouble staying alive here, but so long as he is able to handle the pressure, things should go pretty smoothly for SK. Is now coming in though, so maybe able to put up a little bit more of a fight since there wasn't an immediate push from the SK roster into that A site. I think it's not shift away from the 5-man hold there because of it. But FNX struck first, has already picked up his first kill here, looking for more, but of course taking their time with it.
Should be very patient. I mean, applying a lot of pressure, and there goes FNX. It's towards the A-bomb site. So with that being said, Fallen's just going to fall away from it. It was the only 2 of them were over there at the A-bomb site, and it looks like Dignitas has a good read on this. Config's going to fall back into the A site just to be safe, but Magis is already rotating over towards the B site, so it's Cajun in the smoke. Smoke just disappears, and Cajun gets caught out. So now the execute comes in. This is where SK decides to make their move. MSL close up, does good damage, but Fur does more. And it's just Magis and Config left, and they can't really do too much. Maybe get another kill towards the end of this round, but definitely no real chance of winning.
SK looking to hold here, but Taco nicely done. Close on and Config to close it out there. They go 11-6 against Dignitas after starting a little bit more behind the pack here. They have come back in huge strides.
Yeah, and we'll update the Magis Boy versus Colds there. Magis Boy's at 16 and 13, Colds at 9 and 10. But unfortunately for Magis Boy and Team Dignitas, the rest of SK has shown up 12, 14, 15, and 16 kills. It's a very, very good team effort out of the SK side. And Cold really doesn't have to do a whole lot of work. Fur's having a phenomenal game. Taco as well, quietly, is having a lot of impact.
I think it was you that mentioned with Fur, too, who can sort of hit the switch. And now we're going to see FNX having a little bit of a switch of his own there. Moves in, finds 2 quick kills. Cold Sarah, that is so fast.
Yeah, by the way, all SMGs get those kills, so so that's a lot of bonus money that just builds up in this T-side economy that's already at a very, very good place. They've got another buy built up behind this 5 AK purchase from them, and if they continue forward, I mean, this is now Dignitas. They have to get started quick. They have a shotgun on Rubino. They don't have an AWP. They just have M4s around that shotgun. But down 6-12 at this stage, this 4th round is critical for Team Dignitas.
Now the guys from SK, they're going to be sort of splitting themselves up here. Very forward with getting themselves over here just towards the staging area, back over towards the broken wall. But beyond that, they're holding up, and again, they're playing the default here. Fallen going to make some noise back over towards Long, along with Fur. Fur himself moving over here towards the mid connector to pop into it a little bit here. Good flashbang, but it doesn't blind MSL. However, the jumping shot from Fur as he moves in there is able to readjust and take down MSL, but a trade does come in from Magic's boys sitting outside there, hiding in the corner. Now, however, the SK roster, they're going to move into this B-bomb site where they will be challenged by Config. Not for very long, though. Taco is going to make quick work of taking him down. The site's under their control. They do still have Rubino here, but unfortunately, he's only got a shotgun and drop control. Not a whole lot that he can do in the current situation. Has to wait for the rest of his teammates to move back in. They won't have any hope of retaking this. Good damage goes on FNX, and also Taco too. He drops down very, very low here. Molotov tossed out, and that's FNX finding a great kill against Cajun B. More and more damage being done to the SK players here, but Dignitas just cannot make this happen with Rubino still on that shotgun. They're going to have to follow in, they're going to save, so SK will get their 13th.
Yeah, as if there's just one more little insult there at the end. Magis with that nade, it bounces off the chip flips. It doesn't even kill Taco, but this is that precision execution style of SK that we've come to love, because, I mean, even when they bring out of the B bomb site, Config eats that flashbang perfectly, and that makes him such an easy target as Taco enters in. He just wraps around and he finds that kill. The pop flash works out so well. Look at Cold and Fallen, even hunting down Rubino at the end. Even if Cold doesn't get that, Fallen's in the stairs to trade it off immediately. So Dignitas now, I said that was a critical round, and this is starting to get ugly, and now we're going to have SK. This is interesting, because Fallen and SK have called for the tactical timeout.
And that is going to be unpaused immediately after that, however, so no delay at all. We go right back into that. Very quick tactical pause, Moses.
He's letting him listen to the crowd, giving him a chance to enjoy the stage here in Brazil.
Bit of a momentum breaker.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Nice little 3-second timeout, so yeah, not quite sure why it's used. Maybe just a quick word. Maybe, maybe he just tipped over his water bottle.
Clearly with the lead, though, they can sort of afford to use one of, I think they have all 4, right? They haven't used a single one.
I think they used one in the first half. I could be wrong. I think they used one when they were down 5-1, but I could be wrong. That was, that was a whole 20 minutes ago, so it's been a long time. Flashbang over the top of this B wall, and here they come streaming out against these pistols. Cajun gets the first one. Looks like it could be a little bit dangerous. Cajun gets another one. That M4 is boosted up. Magisk on the flank. He's going to turn this around, so yeah, the pause stops the momentum, but it stops SK's momentum, and Rubino, he gets Dignitas their 7th with that final kill, but it's Cajun B who opens things up with 2.
Clearly it doesn't work, and with that, SK now all of a sudden are going to find themselves on the back end of a lost round, but plenty of cash left in reserves here, so no problems whatsoever going for the rebuy into it. Fallen actually debating if he wants to go for the op there, as you can see, a bit delayed on his buy. Does end up going through with it, however, so pickup from him is going to run his money dry, and with both him and Fur sitting down very, very low, could have some bad consequences to really allow Dignitas to get back into this match should they find themselves on a hot streak here too. They've struck them down once, and it was off of a round where they really had no business doing so, so now the question is, can they do it with full arsenal in hand here? All of them have invested. Cajun B picking up the op to work with 2, but SK lining up rather quickly. They're already sitting on the cusp. Taco has already leaped in, but he's been found out. Config is going to take him down, and no one else seems to want to move forward as of yet to find the trade.
Well, here's Cold Zero jumping out in Taco's absence. He's going to lead the way, and they're going to swarm into the site. There's Fallen protecting, just watching the left side of the statue, and Fur, he wraps around Cajun. This site has been lost, but still Rubino's here, and Fallen has more to say. That perch on platform is so important for an Alper, but he finally gets taken down. MSL with the nade slows down in the 2-on-2 until Fur just executes Magis, not even clearing that corner, and MSL in a 1-on-2, the last one left, and he can do nothing. SK responds immediately, and that's the hard reset late in the second half, late in the match. And Dignitas, that might just be it.
There is no money left at all here for this Team Dignitas roster. A couple players that have managed to stay alive a little bit more have money to go for rifle buys here. Beyond that, Cajun and MSL, they're relying on whatever is donated by their teammates.
It helps that the round they just won was with pistols, was basically a save from them. So, I mean, that gives them a little bit more money to get those four M4s. But you can see, I mean, look at the utility. Running out of nades already. There's no kits on board, so not a whole lot of options open to Dignitas other than just straight up winning their fights.
And we will see here now from SK2, keeping it in the high octane now as they already try to move in, using a lot of their nades early on here, gaining some ground, and Fallen already starting to push himself over here, back over towards long A. Magicboy will resist that from inside of the suicide area, but it's going to be a little bit hard to play double duty here, as he also only has MSL to resist, and that's a little bit further back. Can't really help him out there if he gets pushed from both angles.
This is a patient SK. They've got to have an indication. I mean, just falling inside of his head, doing the math between rounds, has got to know that the economy is going to be low. So with light economy, the options for the CT side dwindles a little bit, so they can just be cautious of some kind of setup, some kind of aggression. They just want to be very careful of it, but they're going to take over these A-halls. MSL's at an off angle. The question is, Magisk is just in danger stairs, and if they walk down, MSL can't see this. This is miscommunication. This is actually just going to be... Oh, Taco doesn't check it. I would have thought he did, and now Magisk has the tall task. He's got to really be gambling and pick his angles wisely, and he gets the first kill, but now he's trapped. Cold trades him off.
There had been a second player standing up there at the doorway. That could have been a huge play, but it does not end up working out for Magicboy. And now SK roll directly into the site here. Full control maintained, and Dignitas got the signal way too late, so they're going to be slow to rotate. Rubino with a shotgun. He's got no choice but to try and just get into the site and get as good of a position as he could get. He goes down, however. FNX, Taco executing everything here, and KJB falls directly after that. SK just shutting out Dignitas at this point, and now they sit up at match point.
Yeah, it is clinical right now for SK. They are just running right through this Dignitas defense. It's a little bit of a bummer that Rubino's the one on rotating duty, first over to that A site when it starts getting taken over with that shotgun. They just don't have a whole lot of options. There's not a whole lot of good fights you can take with that weapon. He's got it back in his hands again, but you know, it's 5-7s, it's two of them, it's two deagles as well for Dignitas. This is looking like the one last desperation buy, whatever they can get. That reset happened just 2 short rounds ago, so the losing bonus isn't built up enough to offer them any real arsenal, even running out of nades already.
And SK just going to be sitting back here waiting this one out, firing so many bullets back over into the mid connector to see if they can find anyone there, but it will not be the case. Dignitas are held back a little bit more than that. A bit more proactive in trying to maintain a position in the mid connector, but not the case on this round. Still just an even split. Haven't gone for the gamble stack despite just how little their arsenal has grown down to in this one. And MSL, instead of Magicboy, will take up the mantle here inside of the suicide set, looking for anything that he can find, but it's Fallen and finds him. Takes down MSL, more on the way. They're walking up to this A-bomb, so it is certainly not looking good at all for Team Dignitas. Magicboy and Config, however, they do find 2 kills, so things are not done yet, but the real task is getting out onto this site. No one checks down below the balcony, and FNX just shuts both of them down. Config now, he picks up an AK, but he's got such a huge task ahead of him. No utility to make this happen either. Stuck on the ramp, being pummeled by grenades, and as he pushes forward, he is going to meet himself against one of the members of SK in a moment. One of them peeking over the shed, and he doesn't even check it, so FNX shuts it down. That's going to be the end of it. SK take control. They win their first match here in the Brazilian arena. 16-7 is going to be the final score, and they dominate after a little bit of a rough start there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small rough start, but you have to think it was 5-1 at one point. So what is it, a 15-2 run to close that out? That is extremely impressive from SK. As soon as they got a hold of this match, they never looked back, and that's the scary SK in front of the home crowd as well. I mean, that's the thing you can't quantify. We can't possibly know unless, I mean, we can ask the Dignitas players if they felt affected by that crowd, but just a straight steamroll from SK there by the end.
Yeah, I mean, every single player on that roster was looking good. The one thing I think you mentioned as we were kind of feeling there at the beginning that 100% came through is that Colin may have not been there 100% at the beginning of the match, but it was easily first stepping up. You said he had that switch, and he 100% flicked that in for this match.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the hardest roles you can have as a player, too, is stepping up in the shoes of your star player when he's having a quiet game. So obviously still, I mean, we sing a lot of accolades about Fur. Might as well just continue doing it because that's always very impressive. But it wasn't just him. I mean, the rest of the team Fallen, you could see he was in the groove. He was being that aggressive style of opera, going for that first pick on the defense, going for the picks on the T side. So Taco and FNX as well had their impact.
All right, guys. Well, looks like the analyst desk is waiting to break down this game a little bit more. Let's send it over to them to take a look at this match.
Things looked competitive for a long time. SK, however, did run away with it into the second half. A 9-6 half, and then SK end that one with Dignitas having just one extra round after that second half started. Danes falling short this time, and SK looking good on a map that did kind of baffle the analysts. We're going to brighten things up here at some point, I'm sure.
SK
already
look
have
much
them.
cooler with this lighting, Alex, I have to say.
Yeah?
It's good mood lighting.
Mood
The
lighting.
less lighting, the better we look. Fancy that.
It's a horrible truth.
A really dominant performance from SK. We were questioning the cobblestone pick because it is Dignitas' best map. They had other choices that maybe would have been more beneficial for them, but the score tells otherwise, right? even considering Dignitas was up 5-1 and the map ended 16-7 in favor of SK.
Whoa, it's
Whoa.
bright. I got a lot of stuff on my shirt as well. Bloody hell.
Yeah, so you basically went hoodie hunting.
Yeah, I got a hoodie, and because it's brand new now, I have a lot of threads all over.
It's an
me.
Amazon mistake, man, when you go
Not
hoodie
all
shopping.
free stuff is good, Chad.
That's true.
No,
You
it's
can ask
true.
Matt about that one.
Oh, you beat me to it. Either way, there were a couple of free rounds given to SK as well. Dignitas tripping up on that second half. It's strange to see Dignitas not being able to make an impact on their defensive side, Chad. I mean, this is something we usually kind of praise them for.
But they're on the back foot the whole game, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, Fur was making so many impact frags in that CT half. I thought that he was doing a really good job at A, and we actually saw a lot more cohesion between him and Fallen. In the past, it looked like they were doing super individual stuff. It looked like this time they had a better understanding of if Fur was going to be aggressive on his own. Fallen had to be further enough back that he wasn't going to get caught off guard, relay the information and delay for his team. And then when you switched over to the T side, Fur once again getting a lot of impact frags, helped on that one round where they threw that connector smoke. He went out mid, got the kill for the fake, and that was, you know, a really cool round, I thought.
I mean, there was a lot of cool gameplay all around. Fallen, it's at 19 frags for him, and he's actually standing by on the stage with Bia to go ahead and hear his side of the story before we dissect this further.
We are here with Falling and the flags. Falling, we started losing against NIP, and then you had 3 great victories. What do you think was the important thing to have this improvement?
I think the improvement came from preparation. We are trying a different approach when we're going to play other opponents. In the past, we have just been playing our game, and it has been enough to beat off them, and right now we're suffering a little, playing just our game, so we're doing a little more things, and it's paying off.
And you choose to play on Dig's favorite map. Wasn't it too risky?
Life is risky. I don't fear them.
Great answer. And people believe we are living the SK era. Do you think we are playing at the same level?
I think we still have to win more tournaments. We have to get this third major, and then we can talk about an SK era. I think we have done a lot of great things already, but we are hungry, we want more, want to be the best team in the world for a long time.
Now I ask you to talk to the Brazilian audience in Portuguese.
Galera, obrigado pela torcida, vocês são os demais. Um orgulho pra gente estar jogando aqui com vocês. A gente sabe o quanto vocês acompanham a gente quando a gente está lá fora. Muitos criticam, muitos torcem, outros choram, muitos comemoram com a gente. Então, não tem emoção maior do que estar aqui e ver vocês aqui torcendo pela gente. Valeu mesmo, obrigado. E hoje é aniversário do meu irmão Marcelo, meu irmão mais velho. Foi quem me ajudou a começar a jogar Counter-Strike. Se eu tô aqui hoje é por causa dele. Então, um abraço, Celão. Meu sogro também é aniversário dele. Um abraço, um beijo pra vocês.
Thanks, Fallen. Everybody's here supporting SK Gaming and Fallen. Alex, this is how Brazilians cheer.
Yeah, we're certainly learning a lot about that one, Bia. In fact, this arena has done nothing but enlighten us to the power and the passion that Brazilian fans do possess, especially for the SK Gaming side, who have finally seemed to have found their form. It was something we've been kind of hoping to see for a while, but now 3 consecutive wins, they are looking much better. This is what we were hoping to see for the ESL Pro League Finals, and defending Pro League champions, of course, from Season 3. That cobblestone, though, Fallen said life is risky. They suggested that they had done some additional preparation. Was that evident? Was it clear that there was some sort of reading and understanding of how Dignitas approached the map?
Honestly, to me, it wasn't that much evident. Maybe a bit towards that A-bomb. Said that Fallen was playing a bit closer to Fur, but look at what happened in the first gun round. Dignitas goes for that A control towards mid. They just get the kill on Fur. Afterwards, they get the second kill and win the round. 2 rounds after that, they go for the same thing, but Fur gets a double kill. That's the only difference. Fur gets the kills instead of immediately dying. I think after that initial gun round, when they went towards A, couple of next following rounds, I think Dignitas just did a bad job at trading. Fur was able to get multi-kills, or Fallen if they went towards that A holds area. And at that point, you lose too many people to be able to close out the round.
SK are going to be sitting now at 3-1. Top of their group currently. Dignitas now falling to 2 wins, 2 losses. Chad, is this a good sign of things to come? Do you think Dignitas still have an opportunity to make an impact in this tournament? It was rather underwhelming that second half.
Oh, I think Dignitas definitely still, have a chance to make it to the playoffs and have an impact, and they're one of the better teams here. I think this is just a SK that's looking revitalized, right? They're in front of the home crowd. They're playing a better brand of Counter-Strike, and it looks like whatever issues they've had, they're healing them, and that's what you want to see. If they can get back to the SK that we know that have such good fundamentals and teamwork, as well as the individual side of things, they're an unstoppable force, and we all know that.
And if you talk about individual side of things for a second, it is still worth highlighting. I know that this guy's name has come up an awful lot on desks. But again, Magic Boy, despite conceding, his team losing by such a margin, top of the scoreboard on the server alongside the Brazilians.
Definitely just on fire recently
Right?
with his individual
This is
performance,
crazy.
getting the job done for his team. And I don't think the score actually tells the truth of the game. I think it was much closer. There were a couple of clutch rounds as well. The FNX versus Cbble early on in the first half. You had the config 1v2 that he could have possibly won as well. All of those rounds went SK's way. You could see how pumped up they are to play before the home crowd, that they're really on point and focused individually. So I really hope these two teams get to meet again in a best of 3 and really go at it.
Really duke it out. It has been a real kind of taster of what could be to come, of course, in the next 2 days. The weekend of Counter-Strike in this arena, with this crowd, with SK like that, it's going to be awesome. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. And the next game is in a similar vein, because it is going to be time to see the Ninjas on stage, a team that no doubt are going to be looking to show us what they are made of, as if we do dive into that one, of course, going up against Cloud9. A roster that have been looking great so far, conceded their first loss yesterday. Let's see if they can keep it that way, as we're going to be delving into that match after our break.